Okay, glued up. And this turned out a nice way to do it. Keep this one, I kept this one stationary and just pushed everything into it. And then clamp these two down to hold this square. So I've got nice tight joints. Happy about that. I'll move on to the other parts. Alright, this has had a little over an hour to set up. Get these things put away. Clean up this glue a little bit. Okay. Now I can cut this or square this and then cut the back and this to the same exact length. That'll help me when I glue it up to keep things square and the drawers running true. Beautiful. I'm glad I labeled my pieces. I almost grabbed this one to cut it. When it's this is the drawer fronts. So now that I've got this identical, I will find center and glue this in place. Alright, I haven't glued this in place yet, but you can see I've established center line and then also center line on this. So I'm just going to slide it in there like that, clamp it, and call it good. But I'm good enough until I can run a dowel through the top and the bottom. It gives me an idea where to put the glue. A little dab will do ya. Okay, I'm getting ready to clean up my finger here. Cleaning the glue up so I can see that I'm still on my line. There we go. Okay, that can sit and cure. All right, real world measurements. I have miscalculated by a ½ inch. so my top is going to be 41.5, not 42. These are rough cut layout lines I have there. So that's the nature of woodworking. When I designed my table, I had these at 1.5 inches, and that was wrong. I should have had them at 1.25 inches. At any rate, here we are. So I'll trim this here, trim it to length this way. It'll be rough cut, and then I can move on. So that's okay. It'll look great when we get done, or when I get done. So I'll make a couple of cuts. Get this down to a more manageable size. Now it can still be the same width because I haven't cut my sides to length yet, so I'll figure that out. The one thing I want to do here is avoid getting too close to these lines where my dominoes are, but I've got plenty of room. I guess I really shouldn't be too concerned about square at this point because I am going to cut this again. But it's dead nuts. Alright, I'm doing some real world measuring here again. These legs, I pulled them because this is the side that I measured. And what I did was 3/4 inch in from this edge for the front and the back of the leg, front and back legs. I'll get this out of the way so you can see what I did here. So the legs were front right, yeah, because when I tip this up, the legs were positioned about like so. 3/4 inch and 3/4 inch. Then I made marks on the inside here and here, and took this measurement, and it turned out to be 7 1/4. It's just shy of 7 1/4. I'm going to make it 7 1/4. I can always shrink it a little, but that's what I'm going to go with. So my sides are 7 1/4. I've got my front and back already, they're cut to length. So these are done. I want to cut these to length, and then everything gets ripped to 5 inches. And then I'll be good to go to start doing some glue up and clean up here. I'm going to do the back first to see how much material I'm removing. It's not a lot, okay. Okay, because I made these a little bit long, I'm taking more material off of this. So I'm going to cut this in half, or try to cut it in half. Just take a little off of both sides by doing this. I'll set up a stop here. This is my finished dimension. Take my credit card. Do this cut first. And then flip it and do the other one. See how I'm doing here for straight. I'm kind of bowed out there. Alright, before I do that, I'm going to take this and plane off some in the middle. This one is that's straighter. Yeah, I'll just use this edge. That'll take this bow out right here. Actually, I'm going to give it a little bit more this way. good. See if we stayed square here. That's also good. All right. Good enough. I'm going to set my dowel jig and reinforce this joint. Then I can start to think about putting some of this together.